everyone. I am Savannah Kepley, and I am a middle school language arts teacher, and I'm here today to share with you my pacing guide for the whole entire year. So I don't know about you. Well, first off, let me say, if you are not a standards-based teacher, if you teach by themes or anything else, or if you just combine all your standards together, or I don't know, if you just do some other type of teaching that's not standards based, then this video might not be for you. But if you are a standards based teacher, then let me tell you, you are where you need to be, because I have a great pacing guide for you. In fact, I used this pacing guide with my 7th grade students last year, and we were able to dive deep into the standards, and they did so well. And not to brag, but they were #1 in the county for test scores at the second quarter check-in, third quarter check-in, and EOGs. And I think it's because I broke the standards down and we really dove deep into them, and we spent some time with them and understanding them. I don't know about you, but when I first started, I started looking at other pacing guides to get some ideas, and they were just not for me. And maybe some people's brains work like that, where it's just black and white tables. This is what you need to do. These are all the standards that you need to hit in the first quarter, and it wasn't really broken down for me. And I was like, I don't understand. It was just not for me. Now again, some people's brains work that way, but mine does not. Mine needed segments and colors. And so that's what I have done with this pacing guide. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. And it might be something that works for you. I hope it is. And you get to see how I break down my year. So let's take a look. This is my pacing guide. I have it broken down between first semester and second semester. And then on top of that, I have the 4 main things that I want to do throughout the year. I always do a bell ringer, always do some word study, always teach content, and then we always apply it. Those are the 4 core things that I make sure that I do almost on a daily basis. And this is how I have it laid out. So with bell ringers, I start out with, as you can see here, QOTD stands for question of the day. And these are just questions that get students thinking and talking about themselves and connecting to the world around them. So those are questions of the day. They're a lot of fun. I'll link my video about question of the day in the description below. And then of course grammar, because Lord knows they have 0 clue about grammar. So I always start out with like a basic grammar expectations or common grammar mistakes type of thing for my first lesson, and then I move through with simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, how to use a comma. So just the basic grammar that I feel like a lot of our students in middle school are missing. And then also on my bell ringers, I have here highlighted in blue are the standards-based bell ringers that I use. And so they're scaffolded bell ringers. They start off with like vocabulary and simple things, and then they go into, on the 4th day, applying the skill, and on the 5th day, taking a quiz about it. So those are the bell ringers that I use. And then I move into word study. And so last year I did morphology one week, and then vocabulary the next week. And then towards the second half of the year, I started combining the two, and I would give them morphology and vocabulary at the same time. So I'm going to do that all year because I found it kind of worked really well together. Like we would do the morphology, and then when it came time to vocabulary or talk about vocabulary words, I could point out the word parts, and they can start to see how word parts make words and help us understand unknown vocabulary. Super important. A lot of my students, as with the grammar, have a limited vocabulary. Maybe your students are different. I don't know. But it came to a point where they were asking me words like things that I think they should know, like excitement or optimistic or words like that they had no clue about. So I was like, I need to really, really focus on that. So I take about 10 minutes every day, and we do a vocabulary unit. I have all of that also on ELA Unlimited, which I'll talk about later. And then after we do our bell ringer and word study, this is when we move into our content. This is our mini lesson part of the day. We're doing something with the standards where it's a lot of teacher directed, it's station work, it's working at their own level. I have several activities for each standard, and we spend about 20 minutes a day really diving deep into these standards. So about 7 minutes on bell ringer. Then we have 10 minutes on word study. They have 3 minutes to come to the classroom, so that's 20 minutes. And then with the content mini lesson, we're at 40 minutes. So that leaves me typically about 20 minutes to apply it on their own. So we are either doing short stories where I'm doing read alouds and I'm showing them my inner thoughts and how I make inferences or what text evidence I'm picking up on in order to figure out what's going on. So whatever the standard is, I'm applying it down here, right? So if it's figurative language, I'm picking that out in these short stories and we're talking about what it means. And then I might throw in a little text evidence and inference as well. But I'm really focused on whatever the standard is. And it's a lot of modeling. Students need modeling, right? Not only do they need to work on their own or work in a collaboratory environment, they also need that modeling because they're missing that. You don't want to be the teacher that sits on the stool of drool and just tells them to work because they're not going to pick it up. They need to see it in action. So that's what the apply it section's all about. Whew, I get all on my soapbox about this, right? Okay, so we do realistic novel studies. I mix it up with some short stories, some memoirs, some narrative writing, and then we move into nonfiction novel studies and argumentative writing, and we finish with historical fiction book clubs. I love it. I love this pacing. It really works, at least for me, once you get into the groove of things and students really start to understand the standards, which is our goal, right? We want them to really comprehend these standards. Now, I'm not saying when we get to main idea theme, we never talk about inference or figurative language or story elements anymore. No, I kind of build it in a couple of questions, but I'm just really diving deep into the main idea and theme during the December month. So that is it. That is my pacing guide. I hope it gave you some ideas for the school year and how you can break things down. And I have great news. If you are interested, I have this as a free download for you. You just need to click the link in the description. It is a Google slide. It is a Google slide, so you can erase things, add things, move things around as needed to fit your needs. Also, if you're interested in activities to teach the standards and for the bell ringer and the question of the day and the word study and all the good things that go with these standards and these activities and goes with this pacing guide, then click the link below for ELA Unlimited, because that's where you want to be. That's where you can download all of these activities and resources for your middle school language arts classroom. Unlimited downloads. It's exactly what you need if you are a middle school language arts teacher. So go ahead and click below to get your pacing guide. You can also click below to join ELA Unlimited, so you will be ready to go for a new year.